How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another episode of WoolyPlaz. Today, we are playing a game called The Longest Walk. I found this game on Steam, and there we go. I found this game on Steam, and it has to do with depression and um, the interviewer's father, actually, and his story about depression and what he was going through. Um,
I felt anxious, so anxious that I was burning. My heart was beating really fast. I couldn't sleep. I got tireder and tireder because I couldn't sleep because I was worrying. I was worry. I've let my family down. Everyone's going to suffer because I'm no good.
Now, obviously, this game is going to have some very sensitive and heavy topics that are being explored here, and I like to try to start by, extending an ear to just about anybody that might be going through something like this. I mean, I've gone through something like this. A lot of the people I know have gone through some form of depression. Um,
Everybody who relied on me, it was a false reliance. I was a fake. Therefore, I worried even more about what financial disaster I put on my family.
like I was saying, it's tough to go through stuff like this alone. So please reach out and try to speak to some of your loved ones about it.
Anxiety, nervous energy burning off, lack of sleep. I remember vividly curling up in a ball on the living room floor, howling, not even crying, howling, saying how shit I was. I felt so bad. That's all I could do. I just wanted to be taken away from all.
And I'm gonna try not to talk through a lot of this, just because this is a relatively short game. Visuals are really interesting, as another reason I wanted us to look at it. And obviously, I know I don't have much of a community here on this page or anything like that yet, but I want it to be, kind of a healthy place for people to be able to talk and talk about these things. And these are important things that I think that people need to talk about. And I really enjoy that video games can be a medium that people utilize to express themselves about things like this. So I'll try not to interrupt too much.
When I was driving back from school crying, and I knew this wasn't right. It was a build-up of stress in work and expectations of work, and then finding that I couldn't do it. I wasn't alone. Other people were struggling with it, but I just thought, I can't do this. Why? What's wrong with me? Why can't I do it? I'm a failure.
This is a really beautiful way for them to illustrate kind of the story. Also, I believe this is we're going to be walking down a specific street in Scotland that apparently is utilized quite frequently by people who want to maybe end their life. So, I mean, again, another content warning. Please, if this is something that you're very sensitive to, something that you don't want to explore,
I knew
by all means, stressed. Turn off the video.
I didn't know I was depressed, and I think it just got worse after that point. There was no stopping it. Once it started, the feelings of negativity about not being good enough, I couldn't stop it.
Yeah, it's got to be really hard to have those kind of intrusive thoughts.
The whole thing made me feel that I was worthless. So I didn't want to meet anyone. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I was so worthless that there's no point in. I shouldn't be indulging my hobbies, which I love, my cycling and my books. I couldn't do that. I could see, and now I can, that these are the sort of things I should have kept doing. I should have kept in contact with people. I should have gone out on my bike. I should have gone to the cinema. I should have done this. I just had to hide because it was an embarrassment and I was a worthless human being. And all the things.
Oh, it's a train.
Laterally, I know
Sorry.
is how you deal with it. I couldn't.
Yeah, that I think people really underestimate things like hobbies, just contact with people, how much that can help. Even if, I mean, I'm obviously not a psychiatrist or anybody who has any expertise in this topic whatsoever, but I found that even in my kind of lowest moments, those are really the only things that kind of help push you through a lot of the time. I think, what are we in, a subway or we're in a tunnel? Are there options here? And again, yeah, that's why you know, in a few of the games that we played where this is kind of a key point in the subject matter, I always say just please reach out and talk to somebody, anybody.
It consumed me. Finding a way to kill myself that nobody would get hurt with. If I didn't want to jump in front of a train in case the train driver had to suffer stroke. I didn't want to hang yourself in the forest because some kid might find you. But I didn't want to kill myself. But I did. And it was not a drama thing. It wasn't attention. I want to kill myself. It was, I'm a useless piece of shit. I'm no good to anyone. The whole everybody would be better off without me. It just didn't make sense. No, honestly, it doesn't make sense. But I was so desperate, also down. I could understand why people would do it.
Yeah, and that's definitely something where you find that, and people that I've spoken to that have felt these feelings, it's wanting to just not feel that way anymore. It's not necessarily that you don't want to be around.
That I could feel that people in my position then I could see how they could do it. But unfortunately, I knew I couldn't because of my family. There's no way. Even though I was suffering and I was hating it, and I was absolutely hating myself, I would have never done that to my family. I remember a run, and actually been on the beach at Kingsbands, and thinking, because I was away from you all and I was having me time, then I reflected, what a fucking great life I had, this is brilliant, I love my family and this is great, I can do this.
Family helps. Family could definitely help.
I am a guy who did a lot of things on his own, and I think when you're giving time to other people as your job, you sometimes a wee bit of time to yourself without being too selfish.
This is, I'm sorry not to undermine the very heavy and real topic that we're on, but just how this was made also is phenomenal. It looks as though it's photographs and then it's just highly pixelated but in a 3D render. Because you see what I mean, like that those little ripples right there from, like, it's very realistic. That's why I feel like if this was hand rendered or hand manipulated, it was through extreme levels of tedium. That's why I feel like maybe these are actual images that are just really pixelated. It's beautiful looking. It looks like wow, look at it in that direction. Wow. It looks like those dot paintings. I I can't remember who that is. I mean,
But as
forgive
soon
me.
as I got out there and into my stride, which not a great runner, but into my stride, the head would clear, and then you could just enjoy the experience. So you hear the birds, you listen to the sea crashing in, you feel tactile the sand, and the experience of being doing that sort of thing. So I could enjoy the surroundings. But yeah, at the start, rush, 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 because all it was about timetabling, and at the end, yeah, more relaxed. I could come home and get on with the rest of it. I know that I've had these issues. I'm hopeful I won't have them again. I can't tell if I'm going to have them or not. I don't know what's going to kick in. You know, I didn't think I'd get it after the second time, but then I went back in that position of responsibility, and I had a trigger there. I knew things were happening, and I knew that I didn't want to be ill, and I knew that I should be doing certain things and doing all these different techniques, but I couldn't stop it. And that was also a frustrating thing, that to have this experience of 2 big episodes, and then the third one to come again, and know and be aware, because there was awareness of triggers and stresses, and because I couldn't get a grip with that made it worse. And for the second and third episodes, I got better at dealing with it and saying, well, I can't do anything about it. I'm ill. If I had a broken leg and I was on a plaster, it's obvious. But because I've got a broken head, it's not obvious to see that I'm ill. I think the last time I was ill was much quicker because I did get the grip.
Yeah, that's one of the real hard things about any mental illness, is fighting that stigma of just because you can't see that something's broken doesn't mean it's not broken. As you said, yeah, it's like if you have a broken leg, it's so very obvious. You can't really hide it. It's whereas a lot of the time, people who are struggling like this, um, it's it's a bit easier to hide. Like they say, the person that is laughing the loudest is probably going through something half the time.
I would like to think I'm a better person for it. It was a good thing. It was a horrible thing, but it was a good thing, in that it made me reflect on what was important. Family was more important than anything else. What other people think doesn't matter, apart from the ones close to you. And work is important, but hey, it's a job, and getting that balance right, and that's what was wrong. The boys, I don't know that we talked about. I think they weren't fully aware of just how seriously it was, which is brilliant because we were too young to deal with that at the time. But it's good to talk about it now. I hope they know that if anything like that happens to them, they understand that. Well, it's happened to their dad, so, and he's still here and he's still okay, I hope. And and yeah, that if it happens to their friends and that happens to people they love, that they'll have insight into it, to know that people need help.
Yeah, that was fantastic to actually hear somebody, because that is an actual interview. Um, oh, look at that, and that's his picture, and it's one of his sons that was interviewing him. But yeah, obviously, if you're maybe not obviously, but certainly you should, if you are feeling this way, um, if you feel like you have nobody to talk to, please understand that there are people out there that have felt the way you feel, and it. I don't say that to um, mitigate or to remove any of the severity from how you feel or the legitimacy of how you feel. It's just it's much. I've at least found in the past that it's a lot easier to deal with certain things. That if you have somebody that you can to talk to about it that has gone through something very similar, and please reach out to. I'll include um, uh, hotlines and websites and things like that in the description of this video, just to I mean, if you were unaware of them, obviously, you know, there's Google, and there are probably more streamlined means um, of finding the resources you might need. But, and I mean, this might not be the video that saves somebody's life, but at the very least, I would hate to not have done something if I could. So, um, I guess I guess that'll be the end of the video. I'm sorry that this was a really depressing video. I just feel like this is a really important topic, and as much as, especially, you know, given the last, you know, couple years that we've all had, a lot of people had suffered, um, and probably weren't able to be heard or able to be with the ones that could have helped them the most. So again, please reach out to somebody if you feel this way, um, and hopefully, in I don't know what 3 months when I make another video, I can we could talk again. Have fun. Thank you. Love you. Love yourselves. Bye.